Katie and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a massive unhaul. So recently I watched Super Space Chick do an unhaul on her channel and saw her shelves looking beautiful after she did her unhaul. And as you can see, my shelves behind me are getting a little full. They're looking very stuffed. So I wanted to get rid of some books so I can make room for some new books. I have these two shelves here, plus I have another shelf over there in my apartment, and then one over there in my apartment. So they're all spread out, so most of my favorite ones and ones I have not read are on this shelf here behind me. But I would like to move some over to the other shelves so that I can make room for some new ones. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and get started on these. I have 50 books that I am unhauling today. And most of them I'm probably going to donate, although some of them might go to some family members and friends if they're interested in these ones. So without further ado, let's just get into this haul. Well, unhaul, I guess. Not a haul. These are not ones that I'm getting rid of these ones. So all of these books that I'm getting rid of, some of them are historical fiction, some of them are thriller, mystery / horror, some of them are fantasy. There's really a big mix of books here. So the first one that I'm unhauling is Catherine by Anya Seton. And this is a historical fiction about Catherine, who, I don't even know, changed the history, like Edward III, that kind of stuff. I did go through a phase where I was really interested in reading historical fiction from this time period, but I haven't picked it up in months, and I don't think I'm going to pick this up, so I'm going to be getting rid of this one. The next book that I am unhauling is Seriously Wicked by Tina Connolly. This is a very short book. I was not expecting it to be this short, and I got maybe about halfway through it, and it was just so, I didn't like this one. I thought it was a little bit juvenile, and it just, no. So I'm getting rid of this one. Next, I'm getting rid of Here in Berlin by Christina Garcia, and this one I got in a subscription box. I can't remember which box it was right now, but I read this one and I did really enjoy it, but I'm never going to reread it, so I'm going to be getting rid of this one as well. Then I'm also going to be getting rid of Troy by Adele Garras. This is one of the books that I had growing up, and I thought it was really interesting, and I loved the plot, and I've actually read it multiple times. But because I have so many new books that I would like to read, I don't think I'm ever going to reread this one again, so I'm going to be getting rid of it. The next one that I'm getting rid of is actually a series, and I'm getting rid of it because I'm never going to reread it, again, because of the reason I just mentioned. I have so many new books and new series that I want to read. So I'm getting rid of the Hunger Games trilogy. So I have The Hunger Games, Catching Fire, and Mockingjay. I'm getting rid of all three of these. I did enjoy them. I think I might have read these twice. But I don't think I'm ever going to read them again, so I'm unhauling them. Then I'm getting rid of Maximum Ride, The Angel Experiment by James Patterson. I think that I finished this one, but I'm not sure. It really interested me, the premise, but I don't think I'm ever going to pick this one up again. Plus, the back cover is ripped. So I'm hoping that I can donate this one and someone will love it, so yeah. The next book that I'm unhauling is actually a book that I got from an ex-boyfriend of mine who knew that I liked books and wanted me to read one of his favorite books. He was not a reader at all, so he gave me Tom Clancy's Power Plays Shadow Watch. I never picked this up. I'm not interested in picking this up. It's like a military type of book. So I'm getting rid of this one. The next book that I am unhauling is The Horse Whisperer by Nicholas Evans. Again, I used to love this book growing up. Horses are one of my favorite animals. So I have a whole shelf devoted to horse-themed books, but I'm never going to pick this one up, and I don't think I'm ever going to reread it, so I'm unhauling this one as well. The next book that I am unhauling is Recurve by Shannon Mayer, and this is actually the very first book that I ever did a review on, because I thought it was going to be great. The synopsis sounded so interesting, so I ordered it. I didn't look at the page count before I ordered it. It's super tiny. So I'm not a fan of smaller books because I feel like you don't get enough of the world building. And since this is a fantasy story, there was not a lot to go off of with this. And I didn't enjoy it, so I'm going to be getting rid of it. I was hoping that I would like it so I could continue with the series, but I don't like it. Then we have a whole bunch of thrillers that I'm getting rid of. And that starts with Prey by Michael Crichton, I think is how you say his last name. I read this book. At this point, I don't remember what it was about. I read it back in like high school, middle school, so I'm unhauling this one. Then I am unhauling What the Night Knows by Dean Koontz. This is actually one of my, well, was one of my favorite authors growing up, and I think that I was just saying that because it made me sound interesting and cool and more worldly, I guess. So I don't think I've ever actually read this book. I think I might have started to read it, but I'm never going to pick this one up, so I'm unhauling it. Then I am unhauling In the Woods by Tana French. I did read this one. I did enjoy it, but like most of these books, I'm never going to reread it, so I want to donate it so that hopefully someone else can enjoy it like I did. Then I am unhauling an anthology, and that is 13. It's 13 Tales of Horror by 13 Masters of Horror. I don't think I've ever read this, and I don't have any plans on reading this, so this one is also going. Then this is actually going to come as a surprise for a lot of people who are into thriller and mystery and horror and things like that, but I'm getting rid of all of my Stephen King books except for one. So I'm keeping Sleeping Beauties because I have not read that one yet and I got it in a book box. So I'm keeping that one. It's also holding my TV up. No big deal. But I'm getting rid of Bag of Bones, It, Cujo, The Darkest Half, The Shining, Misery, and I'm getting rid of Skeleton Crew. So the main reason why I'm getting rid of all of these is because I have not read a Stephen King book in many, many years. And to be honest, none of these really were that, scary, or I didn't find them as intriguing, I guess, as most people do. They just, I don't know. I guess there's just something about these books that I don't find mysterious or thrilling or suspenseful or anything like that. So I'm getting rid of all of them. Don't at me on this one. Then I'm getting rid of Fallen by Anne Simcoe. This is actually a local author in my area who wrote this book, but I've never read it. My grandmother gave it to me thinking that I would like it, but I have no desire to read this, so I'm going to probably donate it to my local library. That way they can, do whatever they want with it, or try to give it back to my grandmother. But yeah, I have no intentions of reading that one, so that one's going bye-bye. Then kind of in the same theme with thrillers and mysteries, I'm getting rid of Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. I did read this one, and I didn't enjoy it. I did not like the ending. I did not like the characters. I mean, I guess that's the point. You're not supposed to like the characters. But yeah, no, I'm just getting rid of it. I hate being negative in my videos, but this is actually kind of fun to get rid of these books and say why I don't like them. So, and the next book is actually one that I know a lot of people here on BookTube really enjoy, but I could not finish it. It was not interesting at all to me, and that is Night Film by Marisha Pessl. I DNF'd this book. I could not do it. It just was so dry, and no. Sorry. Okay, so my battery died, so I hope the angle didn't change too much. But the next book that I am unhauling is The White Queen by Philippa Gregory. This is another book that I DNF'd. It was just so dry. And while I find this time period interesting, I did not like this particular book. I do have 2 of her other books that I would like to try at some point. So maybe not all is lost for me and this author, but for this book, this is a pass for me, so I'm getting rid of this one. The next series that I'm getting rid of is the Divergent series, plus the little book of short stories that were published. And I did read these. I actually, contrary to most people, I did like the ending of the series. I thought it was very fitting, but I'm never going to pick these up again. I've only read them once. And I'm just not really that into this type of dystopian anymore. They were really good when I read them, but I just want someone else to enjoy them like I did, so I'm going to be passing these ones along. The next book that I have that I am getting rid of is Daughters of the Witching Hill by Mary Sherratt. And I got this one expecting a really cool witch story, and to be honest, I started it and I got maybe 50 pages in, and it was not what I was expecting it to be. So I'm going to be passing this one along as well. And then the next book I'm getting rid of is Out Stealing Horses by Per Pedersen. This book, when I pulled it off the shelves, had 4 bookmarks in it in various places. So it looks like I tried reading this multiple times. So I don't remember anything about this book except for the fact that it's not about stealing horses. So I'm going to be getting rid of this one. The next book that I'm going to be getting rid of is the first in a series. The second book just came out recently, but I have no plans on finishing the series, so I'm going to be getting rid of the first book, and that is A Shadow Bright and Burning by Jessica Cluess. I thought this was okay. I wasn't super attached to any of the characters. I actually don't even remember their names, and I read this only a few months ago. And I don't know. I thought the magic system was interesting, but I just don't have any intentions of continuing the series. So this one is going to be donated as well, and hopefully someone else will enjoy it. Then I'm going to be getting rid of my only John Green book that I own, and that is Looking for Alaska. I don't like John Green. It's not my type of book. I'm not a big contemporary person to begin with. And there's just something about these that I'm just meh. I read The Fault in Our Stars. My grandmother recommended it to me years ago, before I had known about BookTube or Bookstagram or anything like that. And she was like, "Oh my god, the ending will like destroy you and everything." And I read it and I did not shed a single tear. And I just felt meh about that, and I felt meh about this one. So I guess John Green is just not for me, and I don't plan on picking up any of his books, and I'm getting rid of this one. So I'm sorry if John Green is one of your favorite authors, but he's just not one of mine. The next book I'm getting rid of is Deadly Sanctuary by Sylvia Noble. It's a Kendall Odell mystery. I have no idea what this is about, other than the fact that it's a mystery. That's it. And it's probably set somewhere in the desert based on the cover. I know nothing about this book. I don't have any plans on picking it up. So as you can guess from this video, I'm getting rid of this. And then the next book is one that I've actually read pretty recently, just before starting my Instagram and, BookTube and everything. And that is Before I Go to Sleep by S.J. Watson. And this is actually very similar to another book that I read and loved, and actually follows the exact same plot line of amnesia, and then, finding out that the man that you're married to is not actually who he says he is. So because I had already read another book that followed this exact same plot line, this wasn't anything new to me, so I just didn't enjoy it, so I'm going to get rid of this one. The next book that I'm getting rid of is, again, another first book in a series. I believe this is a completed series now, but I don't have any plans of continuing on with this series, and I don't have plans of rereading the first book either, so it's going to be donated, and that is The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. I did actually kind of enjoy this book, but I'm not going to reread it, so what's the point of me keeping it when I could buy more books that I do want. Next book I'm getting rid of is one that I actually found on a recommendation for books that are like Game of Thrones, because Game of Thrones is one of my favorite series, and as you know, we're waiting on the next 2 books. He did actually just announce, though, that he's going to be publishing Fire and Blood, which is the first part of the history of the Targaryens, which I'm so excited about, and I pre-ordered it. But this book has nothing in common with Game of Thrones. I don't even remember anything about what has happened so far, and I got about halfway through it and DNF'd it. And that is The Iron King by Maurice Druon. So, since I DNF'd it, I don't have any plans of trying to finish it, so I'm just going to get rid of it. And the next book that I'm getting rid of is The Hearts of Horses by Molly Gloss. Like I mentioned, I do have an entire shelf full of books based on horses and horse stories, but I don't even remember what this one is about. I've had this one since I was at least in middle school, and I'm never going to reread this one, so this one is getting donated as well. So the next one is a series that I'm getting rid of, and the reason that I'm getting rid of this is because while it is a quick read and a fun read, I don't really plan on continuing on, and that is the Selection series. I got through, I don't even know what order these go in. I think I got through the first 2 and then halfway through the 3rd, and it's just, I understand why a lot of people like this series. I really do. They were really quick reads. I read 2 books in one day, but I have a lot of other books that I would rather read, so these ones are getting donated. And this was a box set, so these are all pretty new. I've actually only gotten these in the last few months, so hopefully someone else will enjoy them more than I did. And we're down to the last 6 books. So the first out of the 6 that I'm getting rid of is The Lewis Man by Peter May. This is another thriller mystery book, and from what I remember, I did really like this one. This is about a mummified body that's found in a peat bog in the Isle of Lewis, which is off the coast of Ireland, and I thought the setting was really interesting. I am part Irish, so everything that has to do with Ireland and anything that's set there, I'm always extremely interested in reading. And I did enjoy this one, but I'm not going to read it again anytime soon, so I'm getting rid of this one. And the next book I'm getting rid of is The Silver Swan by Elena Del Banco. Del Banco? Yeah. I'm bad at pronunciations. But I did actually really enjoy this one. It's about a very special cello, so if you like music in books, this might actually be a really good one if you have not yet read it. But yeah, I thought it was really good, but I'm never going to reread it, so I'm getting rid of it. And then I am getting rid of The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield. This is one that my grandmother passed on to me when I was in middle school, high school, and I read it once, really enjoyed it. It's about a reclusive author, and a journalist is selected to go and interview her for get her life story. And it just follows basically this author's life story, and it was really interesting, and it was actually, fun fact, if you're in Pennsylvania and you've ever done the PSSAs in high school, middle school, this book had an excerpt in that PSSA test, which, if you're not from Pennsylvania, is the Pennsylvania State Assessment Test to see how well you're doing in school. It's pretty stupid. But yeah, this had an excerpt in that you had to do critical reading assessments on. Fun fact. The next 2 books that I'm getting rid of are by the same author, and that would be Jodi Picoult. So I'm getting rid of Lone Wolf, and I'm getting rid of Sing You Home, mainly because I have no interest in reading anything by Jodi Picoult anymore. I'm not into this type of literary fiction, so I'm assuming probably one of my family members will want these, so these ones are just, they're going. I don't think I've ever read either of them, but I have read other books by her, and they're all pretty much the same. So, yeah. And the last book that I'm getting rid of for this unhaul is actually a bind-up of, I think, four different stories, I believe. But it's The Year I Turned 16 by Diane Schwem. It's in cursive. I think it says Schwem. But this follows 4 different sisters, the years that they turned 16. And it's like a coming of age story, and it was very nice, and I read it when I was in middle school, and I'm never going to reread it. So, it's going. So that's it for this video. My mouth is really dry now after speaking about all 50 of these books, and this is going to be an insane video to edit. But I hope you enjoyed this unhaul. Let me know if you have read any of these books, or, if any of them caught your eye. And I'd be glad to try to tell you more about them if you're interested. And yeah, so that's it for this video, and I will see you guys all in the next one. If you like this video, please like and subscribe for more. I put out new videos every Tuesday and Thursday, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!